I used to think prolapse meant my body was basically breaking, like my organs were falling out of my vagina and I had to stop lifting weights. That belief created way more fear than the actual symptoms. But I've learned over time my organs aren't falling out and lifting wasn't the problem.
Hey there, beautiful mum. Welcome to Fannying About, the podcast that keeps it raw, real, and ridiculously relatable. Whether it's parenting fails, fitness wins, or just learning to laugh through the madness, this is your go-to space for honest conversations, expert advice, and a little bit of fun along the way. Hi, I'm Lara, a sleep-deprived mum with 2 boys. I'm a personal trainer with a prolapse, surviving on burgers and coffee. Each week, I'll bring you tips, tricks, and a whole lot of real talk to help you navigate motherhood, rediscover your mojo, and feel good in your own skin again. So if you're tired of pretending you've got it all figured out and ready to embrace the chaos, this is your space. Subscribe to Fannying About wherever you get your podcasts, and let's figure it out together. Leaks, laughs, and all. Because life's too short to take too seriously, and your pelvic floor deserves better.
Hello, everybody. I thought it was about time that I spoke about prolapse and my own journey, because there is still a lot of fear-mongering online and it's unfair. And a few things surprised me last week. Even me understanding a bit more about my prolapse and prolapses in general surprised me. So I wanted to share what I've learned even last week along my journey of probably like 6 years since having my first son. Now, I love lifting weights and it's a huge part of making me feel good mentally, mainly mentally, because I notice if I haven't been doing any type of exercise like that, I'm just ragey and I feel like a caged animal. So I don't feel like myself. I don't know if any of you can relate. So when I started having prolapse symptoms, like I can't remember when I was diagnosed. I don't know if I was diagnosed with my first son in 2019 or my second son in 2023. Because I have a levator avulsion, which is the right side of the muscle coming off the pubic bone. So it's really tricky. So I don't know if I got a prolapse from that or from second birth. Who knows, you know? So when I started experiencing symptoms, I instantly typed into Google, because I was diagnosed by another pelvic floor physio. I say another. I have seen a lot of pelvic floor physios in my journey of 6 years. Almost 7. And she said, I have a prolapse stage 1/stage 2. So I instantly Googled what is a prolapse afterwards, and pops up, okay, things are coming out of your vaginal canal. You shouldn't squat. You should definitely not wide leg squat, and you shouldn't lift heavy. I was like, oh my goodness. And for a while, for a long time, I had the fear. I really worried about that. And even when I joined a new gym, I said to them, I have a prolapse and I can't do wide stance squats. So they kind of adjusted for me. They weren't really sure what prolapse was. But over time, I learnt through experimenting. I learnt through talking to different pelvic floor physios and osteopaths. I learnt through other specialists, retraining, educating myself, getting frustrated, 10 steps forward, 20 steps backwards. There was so much going on. I realized the issue wasn't actually lifting. It was a few things. A lot of it was how I was managing pressure and how I still am managing pressure in the body. I'm going to go into a bit more detail about that a little later, and a few other things that I found were contributing to what was going on with my prolapse and how I can move without symptoms anymore, pretty much. So one of the biggest mindset shift for me, I think, was the understanding of, actually I have 2. One was my organs are not falling out. Like I don't need to worry that if I lift up a basket or go for a run, I still worry maybe a little bit, that things aren't going to fall out. I don't worry my organs are falling out my vagina. I do worry about things being made worse. But organs are not falling out your vagina. That's just not the correct anatomy, even if Google tells you that's what's happening. What's actually happening is your body is like this whole system. It's muscles, it's fascia, it's connective tissue. And all of this helps to manage pressure. And I think it was Anthony Lowe, physio detective, who said organs, it's just a laxity of like muscles and connective tissue. You don't say to a woman when your boobs start drooping, oh, you've got a prolapse boobs. It's this, he's brilliant at not fear-mongering women into stopping moving. Movement is key to helping you get stronger and not feeling those symptoms of a prolapse. When your system's working well together, symptoms don't show up. It's other things. It's like the asymmetries. It's the hypermobility for me. It's the pressure. Hormones, massive impact on how I feel and when I feel symptomatic. The other thing that was a big game shifter for me was the fear around the prolapse was aggravating the prolapse, which is that chicken and egg thing, isn't it? One of the osteos that I saw, she was telling me that I'm ab gripping. So I'm trying to hold my stomach in all the time. And you imagine the pressure being pushed down when you trying to suck your belly in all the time and you're not handling that pressure, that core canister really well. Imagine like a carton of juice and they've got that little hole where you can put the straw in. When you squeeze the juice on the side, that will shoot out of that little hole if you're not managing pressure well. But if you're an ab gripper, I'm a recovering ab gripper, and you're squeezing it in all the time, that pressure will eventually just burst and cause that prolapse. I'm talking about from my own body, right, to help you maybe understand what could be going on with your body. So they were the two things that really helped shift my mindset. And you know what happened after 2 weeks of me being very conscious of not sucking my belly in and gripping up into those top abs and actually starting to strengthen those lower abs, activating the core from the bottom up. Within 2 weeks, I wasn't showing any symptoms. It was mind blowing. Like that was a big thing that helped me improve things. Pressure, that was a real game changer. And lots of people talk about pressure, and pressure is needed. You need pressure in your core to handle load, to manage when a toddler jumps on your stomach unawares, or if you're about to be pounded by a giant hug by your 7-year-old, because that's what boys do, then you need to brace yourself. So you need to manage that pressure, but it shouldn't all be going down. Dr. Sarah Duvall talks about pressure being an issue when it comes to hernias and disc issues. This is just a poor pressure management happening, which is exciting because it means you can actually improve things by understanding where your pressure is being impacted. And then you can start releasing tension in your upper back and neck, releasing tension in your diaphragm, like starting to breathe better into your ribs and bringing that rib cage out further. Let's get back into the pressure thing. Yeah, I realized not only I was ab gripping, but I was also clenching my glutes as well because I felt on edge. I was worried that my organs were falling out my vagina. So I would grip everything. So that created a lot of tension happening in my glutes too. So I was super tight and I was creating a lot of then pain in my lower back because you can't just grip for dear life and not have any impact, right? And all of that was just adding to the load in my pelvic floor. Oh, you know what else? Another pelvic floor physio told me. She said, you are drinking too much water. Now, being a PT, being in that health and fitness world, you're like, drink loads of water, keep drinking lots of water, drink as much as possible. And I've always been a water drinker. I love it. But having someone tell me you're drinking too much, because I was very proud of the fact I was drinking like 2, 3, sometimes 4 litres a day. And she said, that's too much for your pelvic floor load. It's like, huh. She said, drink to thirst, start noticing if you're just drinking just to force water in, or if you actually need to drink that water. Another game changer, which was interesting. So those 3 things I wanted to share with you. The over gripping mistake that I was caught in. I thought I was doing the right thing by being tight and controlled, but I was over gripping. I was actually even over gripping into my glutes, like really tight. And I started doing gentle release work with a ball, I noticed that on my right side, I was a lot tighter, and that really helped. So just letting go of tight muscles was also super helpful for me. Because I'm hypermobile, like everywhere, I actually needed more strength happening, more coordination, understanding my asymmetries. Because I have that right-sided levator avulsion, I heard from another specialist that I was overactive in my right obturator internus or infernus, one of them. I don't know if I got that right, which shouldn't be happening. My glute max should be taking over, not really deep gripping into those glute muscles. So I needed to understand my asymmetries. I needed to start breathing better and learning about the habits and the patterns that I was creating regarding my pelvic floor and how everything was working together, not forcing it, but just supporting it. So going back to my hypermobility, that basically means I have more flexibility than stability. And I notice it a lot. Like I'm like Bambi. It was even worse when I was pregnant and then postpartum, because you've got that relaxing hormone going around in your body and you're breastfeeding. So everything's getting impacted. So my body relies less on passive support and more on how well my muscles coordinate, which is why last week, I will tell you now, last week, how I was feeling really symptomatic with my prolapse. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm just going to go and train. And I'm very good now at not going with the ego of lift heavier. Come on, I know you can do it. I'm like, nah, not worth it. It's just, I'm here. When they ask me what weights am I lifting, because this last 2 weeks, it's been on your 5 rep max, your 3 rep max. And I'm like, nope. When they come around, so what are you lifting today? What's your aim? What's your personal best? What you're going to go for? I'm always, generally, I'm like, hell no, just leave me be. And they can write it on their little note on the side. And they're happy to do that because I just stick in my own lane. So I was getting symptoms and I told them I'm very open with prolapse and pelvic floor issues because I want other people to be open and I want the trainers to understand that this is just a normal thing and 50% of your clientele are having prolapse symptoms or pelvic floor issues or leaking. So they need to be okay with listening to that and not feeling uncomfortable because it's just like any other muscle. It's not functioning as best as it could. It needs strength work. It needs releasing tension. So normalizing that. So back to it. Sorry, I'm going off on a tangent. There's so much to talk about. So I was squatting and then the next phase was, I can't remember. Anyway, halfway through my session, I was like, symptoms are gone. That's interesting. Movement and exercise and lifting heavy weights, the right weight for your body and doing the movement that works for your body actually works. Like I even threw myself off and was like, yeah, exercise does work. So yeah, that was my game-changing moment on how I need strength. Building that strength of muscle around the body helps me feel supported. And I had all this crap going on before kids. Like I know when it comes to prolapse, a high risk factor of getting a prolapse is having a vaginal delivery, being overweight, being chronically constipated. But these issues, I was always hypermobility. I was always sucking my ribs in and glute gripping, even before having kids. And I feel like after having kids, you are so much more aware, so much stronger in yourself because you start learning. You have to build yourself back up again because you've grown this human. It's come out of your body and then you have to look after it. And then you also, alongside that, you have to build yourself up. And that's why I believe mums, if they've done the work, if they've started building themselves up from the bottom up, they are stronger than they've ever been before. And I really feel like I've learned so much about my body having all these fucked up issues going on. The frustrations are real. So I just want you to know that a prolapse isn't a death sentence. It can feel like that because especially if you have like stage 3 and stage 4, like you feel like this is my body now, but there are so many things that you can do to feel better and to start moving better and not feeling symptoms. Did you know that you feel more symptoms in stage 1 and stage 2 than you do 3 and 4? Because there's more tissue just outside the vagina, more sensory sensations there. I'm not explaining myself very well here, but than if the tissues are coming out further into that stage 1, stage 4, that more severe prolapse. Interesting. Anyway, you can lift. And this is part that I want people to hear, because so many people are told, you've got a prolapse, you shouldn't lift. I was told by this amazing, apparently, well-known gynecologist in Adelaide, don't lift heavy weights, don't squat. I'm like, okay, I can understand that you saying that right now, but what's the time frame here? Like, is this a forever thing? They don't know. They're just giving you a blanket answer because prolapse, on their notes, prolapse equals don't squat or lift heavy. And you're like, you are not looking at the person in front of you. What if I'm an athlete? You telling an athlete not to do that again? It's just ridiculous. So then the fear is created and then you stop moving and then things get worse because you're not strengthening the muscle and working on your breathing in your core to help things improve. So find someone who is not fear-mongering you, who actually believes that you can improve things. So you can lift, you can squat, you can train hard. The goal isn't to avoid pressure. It's to learn how to manage it and where you're adding that load and that pressure, what's going on with your body, where you're finding those asymmetries. Because like I said, strength training has actually helped me so much, so much. I don't know where I would be if I wasn't strength training. My cycle is very much a factor. I noticed that I'm not sure when in my cycle, but I do feel more vulnerable in different phases of my cycle. I also do feel very vulnerable if I haven't had much sleep. Like, I could be fine for a few hours in the morning and then I'm symptomatic just because I'm tired. You imagine everything's tired. It's just getting more lax. But it doesn't mean you've got your prolapse is worse. It just means today is a day of rest. Today is a day of being kind to yourself and just doing some mobility work or moving your body a little bit. Although when I did some strength work, it seemed to help better for me to do that. You just start becoming more aware of what goes on with your body and how it's going to work. I want to share this one real thing that I hope you take on board, because I'm realizing this so much more now. There is no one magic fix, and I'm desperate. I desperately wanted there to be this one magic fix, and I'm still not fixed. I'm still on the path to living my life without symptoms. And I don't know if that's ever going to happen, but I am moving my body in ways that I feel good. And I've learned a lot. Like I said, I've done a lot of different courses. I've done MamasteFit. I've done Dr. Sarah Duvall, her training in pre and postpartum corrective exercise specialist. I've done the Core Restore with Lauren OHayon. I've done Safe Return to Exercise certificate. I have done the Connect Pelvic Floor Fitness. I can't remember the lady's name. And I have seen a lot of also different specialists around the area. And I have taken information from each of them. They've all been helpful, but there's not been one thing that has been this miraculous, I'm fixed, cure. It's just been little moments of, aha, great, that feels good. I'm going to use that. That's not going to work for my body. This is good. And I'm learning now more and more that that's okay. And I'm taking pieces from each of them, applying them to my body and figuring out what works for me in that moment. So if there's one thing I want you to take from this episode, is that your body isn't broken. It might just need better support, better coordination, and a bit of understanding of where you're handling your pressure and all those things that you can learn. So if there's something that you want to do that you feel like you can't do anymore, please reach out, drop me a message. I will do the best I can to help you. Like I said, I'm not fixed, but I'm very passionate about working with women on prolapse and pelvic floor dysfunction. And I like to think all of this information across almost 7 years, I've learned quite a lot. And I am very understanding, and I will help you understand what's happening with your body, where your asymmetries are, where you're handling pressure, where there's tension, what's happening in your life that could be impacting the prolapse. and help you feel better about moving forward safely without aggravating. And like I said, I'm stronger now because of this. So if this sounds good to you, I hope you feel a little bit more positive about the sort of prolapse outlook. I will share the links below for all of the people that I've worked with, all of the courses that I've done. See which one resonates with you. If I resonate with you, please do feel free to book in a strong start hour, 90-minute session where we actually unpack everything that I just spoke about and try and figure out what's happening in your body so that we can then put together a program to help you start moving forward in the right direction for you. Bye for now.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Please hit subscribe to keep up with our latest episodes and leave us a review on your favourite platform. It helps more people find us. If this episode really resonated with you, please do share with another mum. Thanks so much.